again today. And I want to talk about transformation. Now, my day-to-day job, I talk about digital transformation a lot. And and also on LinkedIn and all, I'll talk about personal transformation. How do we change ourselves? And they're both related. They're both the transformation necessary for both of these things to happen, or the things that are necessary to make the transformation successful are the same in both. The big difference is in an organization, there's a lot more people have to be on board. There's a lot more people that have to be willing to do the work to transform. And the first step in transformation is the willingness to let go of what's current or what you're currently doing. It's easy to stay where it's comfortable or stay where we're at. If things are going well, then okay, fine. I'll just keep doing that. The world doesn't stay static. Sooner or later, you'll have to change. You'll have to transform yourself. If COVID is this whole Wuhan flu, whatever thing you want to, Corona, COVID, what have you, has taught us anything, it's that things can change almost instantly. Work from home. And I'll talk about organizations. Ron Craig on LinkedIn posted an article about how he helped a company with some multi-factor authentication issues. He reached out to a partner that had some things that allowed it to happen. But if you're not, if you're a leader, if you're a CISO or CIO, and you haven't started considering about how would we work remotely, you really should. Or you'll be thinking about, well, how do I find another job? Because sooner or later it's going to happen to every sector industry where you have to throw a switch and people are working from a different location. We don't have the luxury of sitting behind our walled castle with a moat and all that and protecting ourselves from that. We have to figure out how our employees would do their work if they weren't in the office. So that's a consideration. It doesn't have to be a replacement for everything that you're doing. Don't get me wrong, but there needs to be sort of a hybrid approach where you have that. And to start that, it starts with willing to let go of what you're comfortable with and what you know, and exploring what options are available to you to add this flexibility. And that starts with people. It doesn't start with technology. Technology will help you implement the vision and strategy that the people come up with. This is where the true transformation takes place, because you have to be willing to let go of the processes and procedures you had in place that got you where you are, because they won't get you where you're going or where you need to go. You have to be willing to let go of the comfortable and the known and explore the unknown and the new. Now, there's got to be testing. I get that. Those are career limiting thing if you flip a switch and you haven't tested and haven't done anything. But you can't sit there and just deny. And so that's part of the transformation, is getting that mindset change. Okay, how are we going to enable this? And a lot of this starts with a vision of the nirvana. Here's the perfect place we'd like to go. We all know it doesn't exist. You can't get there, but it is a goal. And the reason you can't get there is it constantly shifts. So what you said is nirvana today, based on the technology limitations and everything else, the business climate, a year from now will be different, maybe slightly different, maybe way different in what it is. So you have to be willing, like a sailboat, you have to be willing to sort of adjust your course a little bit based on where the wind is now coming from. You can't control it, but you can use it and leverage it to your advantage. Now, the same thing happens with personal transformation. I've had to reinvent myself several times over my career because technology changes. I embrace the technology world because I'm a nerd and I'm very curious about it, and it's interesting to me. But I've constantly had to reinvent myself, as technology changed, and go get certifications, get whatever you have to do that. and it's a bit uncomfortable. It's a bit scary. I can't learn this thing. It is an unknown, and we're all scared of the unknown. It's to a certain extent. I mean, you can learn to overcome that fear and embrace it. And I have a quote: "Embrace the suck," because while you're doing it, it's going to suck while you're making that change. But it's necessary if we're all going to grow, because we can't stay the same. So, in individual type thing, it can be simply meeting somebody new. It could be learning a new skill. It could be learning to do public speaking. I know that scares the crap out of a lot of people. I coach people in that all the time. Oh, by the way, if you want some tips on that, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you about that. But it starts with the story we tell ourselves. So if you get down to it, and it's storytelling. Are we telling ourselves, I can't do that, I can't learn anything else? Or, hey, this is going to be hard, but it's kind of exciting. It's unknown. I'm going to stretch myself. I'm going to be a little uncomfortable. Alison Buckland had a quote about sort of being uncomfortable today. And once we change that voice in our head, once we change that inner bully, if you watch my TED Talk, my inner bully's name's Simon. He's looking over my shoulder right now. Yeah, he's breathing down my neck. Stop it. He's breathing down my neck. But once you tell him that, hey, we're going to do this, and you have to do it several days in a row. It's not something you can just do once and it's done. I mean, you may be. You're a better person than I am, because I have to constantly beat Simon back, put him back into his closet. But it's having that positive self-talk. Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, learn something new, and take the small wins along the way, which make it easier. Hey, I learned a new fact today. I learned a new skill. I learned how to write a line of code. If I ever say I learned how to write a line of code, I want you to it's an imposter. I'm not a developer. But those are just my thoughts today on transformation. Pick out the destination, your nirvana, but be willing to adjust your sails based on the wind that comes. Be willing to let go of the comfortable, what's known, and what's gotten you where you are. Be willing to let go of that for the new tack. And start with the positive self-talk and the mindset. And if you're in an organization, hey, we can do this. You have to have that cheerleader on the sideline, keeping everybody positive, helping get their mindset right. And if you do all those things correctly, you'll be amazed. You'll be transformed before you know it. Look back at the times in your life when you've changed. And I think you'll find those three things in place. So go out and transform yourself today. Bye.